Now, there's been a lot of talk about disrupting the payment process. We know that retail payments, for instance, are expensive. You use a credit card and the merchant gets 97% and the rest goes through a lot of intermediaries. Do you think that there's blockchain, Bitcoin adaptations that will reduce those costs? That's a big profit center, obviously, for banks. But giving that money back to retailers, on the other hand, can lead to bigger discounts, et cetera. Where is that going to go? Will the whole retail payments process get disrupted?
It's all the above. In other words, so what really goes on today, Bank of America's consumers through the end of May, actually through the first 10 days of June, for year to date, have moved $1.3 trillion in money. Checks written, cash over the ATMs, cash over the tow line, debit and credit cards, Zelle, wires, other ACH, etc. $1.3 trillion, so it's not a small number.
Right.
If you take something like Zelle, which a colleague from EWS, Zelle, will be out here a little later, I think, and she'll tell about it. But basically, last year, if you take the Zelle payments at Bank of America, it was $40-odd billion, $44 billion in payments. To give you a sense, we are the largest sort of card coming out of wallets: Google Pay, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay. That total was $4 billion last year. So 10-factor already on Zelle, and Zelle's growing at a faster rate. So it's growing 100% a year, basically, Zelle transactions are. So you're atomizing money, you're making more available, just like the ATM did when you could go in and get 20s instead of 100s because you didn't want to stand in line just to get 20s, and suddenly 20s became the norm going out of the machine, and $40 was a lot, and you could go back. And this has all changed the way money works, but there's both the tax on both sides, and driving down the cost is a preeminent thing. And we've been driving that cost down hard because we want a cashless society.
I've said it before, I will say it again. We can't balance the budget on the backs of the very people who have borne the biggest brunt of this recession. Everyone's going to have to chip in. Chip in. Everyone's going to have to chip in.
That we use to teach about microchips. This is one of our models that we use to teach about microchips.
In his hand, it's the microchip actually in his hand. The tiny implant is the latest advance in a biohacking technology that is steadily becoming a part of normal life in Sweden. Swedes haven't been shy about upgrading themselves with the new version. Thousands already have microchip implants that they use in their daily lives. Student Hannah Herving is also freshly chipped and now just needs to program it to open doors. Although, importantly for a future career, it does already connect to her LinkedIn.
Some people say I'm mad that I don't know if it's safe and all that, but people have been putting these chips into animals for 20 years, so I'm not worried about that.
The long-term goal is for the new chips to help provide medical care in remote communities. They're already getting under the skin of the Swedes and may soon become just another normal part of modern life and of the human body.
It costs us $5 billion for checks and cash to move around our company.
You want to cash the society.
Everyone's going to have to chip in.
This week, Facebook announced plans to launch Libra, a global digital currency. With backing from such companies as PayPal, Uber, Visa, and MasterCard, Libra would allow users without bank accounts or credit cards to shop online.
Have you ever bought a Bitcoin? Have you ever invested in a cryptocurrency, Brian?
No, I didn't.
No? Is that a permanent no?
I haven't. No.
You haven't so far, right?
Yeah.
Why do they want to do this? Why are they getting into this?
You know, the reason they give is actually a good and useful and important one. There are a lot of people out there that do not have credit cards, do not have access to regular bank accounts or checking accounts, and frankly, they're excluded from a lot of modern life. You go into, half the coffee shops here in New York, and they don't take cash anymore, and if you don't have a credit card or a debit card, what are you going to do?
In there. That wasn't so bad, it was a slight pinch. Be aware. We all need to fight the good fight to free mankind and give job to robotics. A world without money, a world without government.
We want a cashless society.
Biochips are usually encased in medical glass, have a tiny antenna, and an integrated circuit that transmits data when scanned by an electronic reader. They might be little more than a gadget at this point, but they are showing signs of catching on. The tiny chips already can replace keys, credit cards, train tickets. They can buy snacks. The tipping point from novelty to necessity seems inevitable. Will it eventually be possible to turn on and off GPS and chips? If so, will some employers eventually want to be able to keep track of their employees? Who would have subpoena power to track you? At least 5 states already have passed laws prohibiting mandatory implantation of biochips. And then what about hacking? As more and more people get biochipped and credit card numbers are stored there, won't criminals soon follow? Tap them with credit cards, they're passive. Biochips have even caught the attention of some fundamentalist Christians who see them as fulfilling the prophecy of the mark of the beast found in the book of Revelations. But then other biblical scholars call that fear more of a plot line from end-time movies than a passage from Revelations. Whether or not it's the end times, a more immediate question might be, will biochips mark the end of our personal privacy, or will they finally be embraced?
It costs us $5 billion for checks and cash to move around our company.
You want a cashless society.
We are driving towards a faster, but we have more to gain than anybody in a sense from pure operating costs, and so we're driving it.
I've said it before, I will say it again. Everyone's going to have to chip in. That's only fair.
So is 2019 going to be the year? I don't know, but certainly our policy recommendations is try to limit that growth of debt and move it down in the other direction, make it down, not up, in order to, facilitate your response to the shock that will inevitably come. In order to, facilitate your response to the shock that will inevitably come. The shock that will inevitably come.
Number 8, we will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens. We will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. It will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. A proper tracking system. On sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
Cobra has found it necessary to restructure your nation's economy. Restructure your nation's economy. We have begun by eliminating the worthless green paper. Eliminating the worthless green paper. Here, Sonny. Straight ahead and hold still while we scan you.
Hey! Transaction approved. Subject's retinal scan matches no known dissident, subversive, or enemy of state on file. Have a nice day.
Hey! Come back here! This money ain't no good! It's U.S. dollars! Absolutely worthless!